Live video. It's been quite a while. Maybe too long, maybe not long enough. But had a couple things. Been itching to talk about a couple different things. What we're talking about is, reenactment during all of this stuff. And there's a lot going on. If you're in the state of California, there's not a lot going on. We're starting to see events kind of coming back. But here in California, for the living history community, I just don't see it happening anytime soon. So, just with little bits of positivity, just wanted to talk about what my group is doing and what I'm personally doing, and kind of what the future is looking like for anyone involved in living history, have it be medieval living history, World War II, you name it. Usually, groups are busy doing events throughout the year. That's what we do. We piggyback off of Renaissance fairs, we get involved with museums, you name it. And nowadays, people in California are just doing private events, if they are at all. So that's kind of what we intend to do. We intend to have some private events, do some more of those within reason. Having a location to do it's pretty tough. We are lucky enough to know a property owner that allows all kinds of living history folks come and do their thing. And we've been there a couple times since the lockdowns and the pandemic, and it's been fun. Private events are pretty pinnacle if you're involved in living history. The public is great. We always love and enjoy the public. But here's like the real reality of it, is that in California, we're kind of going backwards when it comes to doing events. No one's going to be able to get permitted, and it's just not going to happen anytime soon. And I got some friends out of state. I got a good friend in Indiana. They're starting to have some public events, and I'm sure, that's a lot of fun. But in California, it's just not happening. And I know if you're in Europe, it's also not happening. So I'm going to keep the video somewhat short, but I wanted to give a little bit of tips and inspiration, a little bit of positivity for anyone who is a reenactor or wants to be. What I really fear is that this pause in events and what we do is going to really lower the ranks. Even perhaps people that are already involved might fall out of interest. That's kind of how life works, isn't it? People just kind of move on when it comes to hobbies and passions. But my real fear is that people won't get started. So if you weren't already involved, you didn't have the money invested, you didn't have a pile of swords or, blank firing rifles or whatever it is your living history group does, there's a real big chance that we're not going to have a lot of new faces entering the community. So what I would like to do is, with our group, I'm hoping to work on a little bit of a campaign to extend the olive branch to anyone who's interested in getting started, just to help them work on their stuff behind the scenes. And a lot of this is going to be what we need to be doing. Just doing what you can behind the scenes, working on your kit, researching. It's cathartic to sew, craft, whatever have you, but I really do worry about the new blood, and there's really no opportunity for them to come to the events and meet us. That's one of the greatest things about these events, is that a good portion of our ranks came from people who were already at the event. Maybe they were dressed up, maybe they weren't, and they came and approached us. And that's really what living history groups are about, or at least should be. That, the public can come approach you, they grow passionate about it, and then before you know it, you're Facebook friends and you're communicating and they're working on their kit. So in our state, like I was saying earlier, we're not going to be having events anytime soon for the public. That's just not a reality. And I do see a lot of our colleagues out there doing some private events, and that's really great. We have to try to keep the group together. Even if we're not going to dress up, try to meet up with your living history group, your friends that you do this with, have it be martial arts, whatever. Just try to get together with your people, try to stay inspired, and reach out to people that, are interested in this stuff. Everyone's going to suffer a bit in this way. Have it be you're doing LARP, reenactment, martial arts, you name it. We only survive by bringing in new people. And if we don't have events to meet them, it's going to be really, really hard. So I'm going to do my part to try to encourage people to feel, welcome to, get started on their path. I encourage anyone else involved in hobbies like this to do the same. We're just going to have to adapt, evolve. I am very bummed that there's not going to be any events coming in 2021. It's very, very likely. A couple of the promoters that I communicate with on Facebook have already expressed that they have no intent of trying to get involved in the spring season. And once again, this is really directed at California living history. So the World War II groups, they seem to be thriving, but they tend to only do private events anyways. And the Renaissance Fair, community is really big for anyone doing anything medieval, LARP, and it's really sad. It's a real bummer that we might be losing out on new people and having our current people perhaps lose interest. So try to cast that net. Just touch bases with folks. Even if you guys get together in a park and just hang out, whatever it is, we can't let it die. But behind the scenes, there's a lot you can do. And in this kind of hobby, our passions vary. Some of us are obsessed. We're doing this stuff day and night. Some of us, it's just kind of a costume in the closet, and that's fine. But let's try to stay inspired. Let's keep it up. And, events aren't coming back in this state for quite a while. And I'd hate to be a pessimist and say it's going to be a year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a year. It will be. And if things are kind of trending the way they are, vaccines might be required. Who knows? That's not really the purpose of this video, and I'm far from an expert. But please, anyone who sees this live feed, we will be saved for later. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to point you towards some affordable options to get started in Viking Age reenactment. It's excited, but we got to keep doing what we're doing and not let it die. And I have all the confidence in the world that, the crew that I go with, we're going to keep it going. Same thing with all of our friends. So who we got? We got a comment from Medieval Fight Club. There's some cool guys. Yes, exactly. That's my point. Don't let the reality of all this hold you guys back. Meet up, do your thing. I know your group's been at it and meeting regardless, and that's so great. It is kind of a bummer to be a Californian during all of this. Thankfully, I got some friends out of state. They're still doing their thing, and I have invites there. So you can count on me doing that in 2021. When it comes to us local folks, we really just got to keep meeting up, keep in touch, keep working on your kits. It's not the hardest thing to do, and we need something more than Netflix and streaming services to occupy us. Concerts came back a little bit here in California. They're all drive-in concerts, such a ridiculous concept. That's really just asking for DUIs, if you ask me. We're not going to have drive-in Renaissance fairs. It's just not a reality. So I'm going to be working my best to scope out more places we can do private events, like campgrounds, things like that. Unfortunately, those things are closing back down again. Please, just do your best to reach out to people. Keep that welcoming spirit alive. That's what living history is really about. And if you're new, please, reach out to these groups. There's a lot of people just like me in groups that are worried about the new blood. And to get involved during this time, it's actually not the worst idea. You can get a lot of preparation done before events come back. You can really kick some ass and get your kits together and, stay in touch with that group. A lot of people are involved in groups and sometimes hardly ever meet up. So there's a lot of options for you if you're feeling kind of disenfranchised. There's definitely a way to get involved in the hobby. Unfortunately, if you're involved in HEMA, a lot of folks aren't meeting anymore because they're following the regulations of gyms. So, but just like anything with martial arts, most of your work should be done on your own practicing anyways. So if you're working on your kit, bust it back out. Don't let the boredom and the lockdowns get you down. Get out your sewing kit, get out your metal grinder, whatever it is, you'll be happy. And, don't get discouraged saying, oh, well, I got all this gear and I got these things I want to make, but there's no events coming, so why bother? That's just the kind of mindset that's going to let your hobby fizzle out. So let's just keep it up. That's all I can really do. A lot of us got hordes of stuff we use for this. Just imagine war reenactors. Some of those guys even have vehicles. So I know that stuff's collecting dust. Get out there, change the oil, fix the paint chips. I mean, there's so much that we can do during all of this. And the private events are going to be key. But like I was saying earlier, I have a big fear of the new blood. So we have to try to maybe get some new blood to these private events. Do your best to network with them, make them feel welcome, get them involved. Really, there shouldn't be any difference between pandemic time and normal event season. We all have extra gear, plenty of stuff to loan to people, just to keep it passionate. I think right now, folks just need a hobby more than ever. A hobby aside from drinking, eating. You know, nowadays, the average highlight for a Californian's takeout. That's ridiculous. So I encourage everyone just to do their best. And I appreciate you guys joining me. And we hope we got a great year ahead. All things aside, we're not going to give up on it. And I'm not going to give up on new people. And I'm not going to give up on our current people. So if you got involved with us at one point or another, expect some harassment. There's no excuse. And if you want to do Zoom meetings, whatever, I don't care. Just please don't let your groups fizzle out. Dead air is one of the worst things ever. What's that Havamal quote? It's that the path to friendship is usually a hard path. If you don't walk it, it'll grow in quickly. It's really the truth. So I hope you guys just are keeping your heads up. Whatever it is you're involved in, reenactment or not, just try to stay motivated. Don't let any of this stuff freak you out. There's always going to be a way. And, you know, to anyone that knows me, knows the group, you know, we extend all of our love and wishes to you guys. And this ain't over. We're going to be getting together. It's going to be a great year, one way or another. So thank you guys. Wanted to keep this short. Appreciate everybody joining me. We're going to see you later.